Corporate Gen Xers, you better buckle up. It's going to get ugly here pretty quick. I mean, think about this. March was the third most layoffs in history. And that's when businesses were doing well and performing financially, right? This is, mass layoffs even after strong financial quarters. Now with the utter chaos in the stock market and what these companies, do you think they're going to sit still? Absolutely not. They're going to ramp up taking cost out of business. And again, who's going to be the brunt of it? Gen Xers. Because even though you have the most experience, wisdom, etc., they don't care. You're also going to be the most expensive. So if you thought you were going to be able to ride this out, things just took a turn and it's going to accelerate. There's just no doubt about it. Like I said, just look at the last 12 months where a lot of these companies were financially performing well and taking cost, basically people out of the business. It's only going to ramp up. So if you haven't made your plan B, I would highly encourage you to.
Things are going to get a lot worse than they are going to get better in the job market. Layoffs are ramping up. The Department of Education is laying off thousands of employees. This shutdown has had a big impact on a lot of workers because they're taking this as an opportunity to cut costs, to reduce the labor force, and a lot of families are going to be left without jobs. Now, if you're not a federal worker, you might not think this affects you, but those workers are going to have to find another job. So now they are back in the candidate pool and they're applying to the same jobs that everyday people are in order to get an income to provide for their families. So if you do think that all this cost cutting is a good thing, you might want to think again because it's going to impact a lot more people than we think. Take a look at the rest of these clips.
1,000 people and potentially more have already lost their job to this government shutdown. And this is the most artificially created incident of scarcity in American history that I've ever lived through. The Republicans are lying to us dead in front of our face, and Trump is too. All the layoffs so far are exactly as he's described them in Agenda 47. He's targeting healthcare first, specifically mental health care and disease outbreak, because he wants those same supporters from those rural communities to struggle with their mental health and to struggle with diseases that they aren't familiar with because their local hospital doesn't have the resources to actually treat them. He wants them to be ill-equipped and uninformed. But that's why this TikTok video is going to get to you, and you might be a little mad when you first see this. That's what's called cognitive dissonance. What's happening in front of you doesn't align with what they're telling you. These Republicans are playing y'all for goofies. Think about it. They love to say that we love veterans. Why is the military the first people to start losing their paychecks? The military, the people who are actively defending our nation's freedoms, it's because they don't care about veterans. They never cared about veterans. Trump is a draft dodger. Trump literally refused to go to war when it was his turn. He sent your grandfather. The reason why you don't have your grandfather in your life is because Trump didn't go to war when he was supposed to, so your granddaddy had to die in the trenches. They're going to take away your health care. They're going to take away resources from veterans. They're going to take away your access to anything that you need to survive. And they're going to keep raising the price because that's how the game is played. The Republicans control every branch of the government. The government creates money. If we as American citizens don't have money, and the government, all three branches, are being controlled by one party, why are we not looking at that one party and asking where the fucking money is?
And Kroger is laying off 1,000 employees in the red state of Ohio. Cincinnati, Ohio is a red state that voted for this administration. Look at this. Kroger, grocery store chain, is laying off 1,000 people in this area. Right now, layoffs are rampant. Companies are losing billions because of tariffs. Companies are losing money because people are not shopping, because they're being laid off. People are afraid of what's going on in the economy. Yes, this is an economic crisis. A recession is coming, and maybe even something worse. If you did not know, there are over 7 million people unemployed right now in the United States. The second week of August, 235,000 new unemployed people hit the job Layoffs are rampant. Please get your finances in order. Do not buy anything right now.
Why are there so many layoffs happening nowadays? Has anyone else noticed this? I was laid off back to back in the span of 2 years, and not just me, but my whole department. Like, what the hell is going on? And the the crazy part is, literally, I just met someone and I was like, oh my God, I am so excited to meet this person in person. And then I get called in like a day before I was going to drive out to meet this person. And they informed me, like, hey, we're going to be letting your department go. What? And I had to let this person know. I was like, girl, I want to meet you so bad, but I just got laid off. And I need to get my life together because money is going to be funny for a little bit until I find employment. Luckily, I was able to find something a few months ago that I'm still kind of training for, but still, like, ugh. And it's crazy because majority of the layoffs that I have been researching are tied into like companies switching positions over to AI, which two of my layoffs kind of coincide with that. Like them switching out people where they feel that AI could kind of go in and do the same process. So my question is, so what are we gonna do? What's gonna happen? Is this going to be like the new future? And if AI is taking everybody's jobs, or if they're gonna be, whether it's AI or if they're gonna just, these businesses, they're gonna start implementing new things to where they don't have to hire people, then what are we going to do? If they replace every human worker, which they can't yet, with like a machine or AI or something, then hello, what's gonna happen? It's a little scary to think about, right? Like, has anybody else been noticing this?
I no longer want to be the unemployed friend. I enjoyed it for to the 2 to 3 weeks that I have been unemployed. I have enjoyed it. I no longer want to do it. I don't understand why. Back like a year and a half ago when I was doing my job search, before I had gotten my job at L'Oreal, I had so many options. Like I was getting interviews, and I felt secure in knowing that I was going to leave the job that I had. And now I don't have the options that I used to. With having more experience now than I did a year and a half ago. So I'm really having a hard time like processing not having like that good of a job search that I thought I would. And being real and honest, like my job search has not been great whatsoever. And I think I'm getting really stressed out because there were a lot of things I had planned before, losing my job. And now I'm kind of like in a really weird place where I feel stuck. I feel really stuck and like I can't do much about it until I get a new job. And honestly, I thought I would have a job like by next week, and that's not happening. And I know a lot of people are also in the same boat. But yeah.
The U.S. Department of Education just had major layoffs, and this is going to hurt those who have disabilities. And I want to talk about this because I have severe disabilities. And if it wasn't for this office in general, I wouldn't be having conversations with you. So let's break this down. According to a new report from ABC News, hundreds of employees were cut from the Office of Special Education. This is the department responsible for enforcing the IDEA Act. This is a law that guarantees free and appropriate education for children with disabilities. These cuts are coming at a time during the government shutdown in which the Trump administration wants to cut nearly around 20% of the workforce across the board. So what is the big concern here? Well, states may not receive the $15 billion that's put aside for said programs so that children with special needs can get a good education and try to work their way out or learn to get out of their disability. We're talking about programs like the Wilson program or teaching kids with disabilities how to speak phonetically. It is crucial programs like that allow some people with disabilities to be able to actually read things and be able to build their way out from a lower grade level to where they need to be so they can graduate and go to university and be able to be better and be bettering themselves. And I know I've completely gone off my script here, but that's how angry I am. This department is absolutely crucial to be intact, because if not, it is our children who will be affected by this. Now, the Education Secretary still says that these programs will be funded. But what doesn't make any sense is, sure, these programs are going to be funded, but you remove the people that's responsible to make sure these programs are going right. So, as they gave an example here, it's like asking a bricklayer to suddenly perform surgery. Yeah, this cut could potentially leave thousands of children with disabilities without the proper education access, which, once again, will be hurting children across the United States. I'll be sure to keep you guys updated on this one, so please do share my videos and follow me for more.
So the corporate job that I quit 2 years ago, or a little over 2 years ago, like 2.5 now, honestly, just laid off another 500 people. So this is not the first nor the last layoff that they're going to have. And the reason for their layoff was AI. So not only is that company, Paycom, here in Oklahoma City, not only is that company going against all of their values. When I first worked there and AI started becoming a thing, they were very adamant that AI would never replace anyone, that automation would only improve the jobs and lives of their employees. They were employee facing, that they were really proud of always having employees, right there interacting with their product, and now they've gone against their word. Time and time again, I will tell you that the only effective way moving forward is to work for yourself. You have all of the stock in your life and in what happens in your future. These companies do not care about you. They only care about making a profit, and your best interest is not in theirs at all. They don't care about you. I feel really bad for all the people that they laid off. But again, it could happen to anyone at any time. Like, you have to prioritize setting yourself up. Work on your side hustle at your 9 to 5 so that you one day don't have to worry or stress about that. Yeah. Paycom sucks.
Well, in case you needed more evidence that big corporate is definitely a profit over people playbook, Starbucks' latest announcement today shows you that their forced RTO didn't get the results they were looking for. And by results, I mean they didn't get enough people to quit that they had hoped. So now they're resorting to more of a mass layoff and some store closings. And don't be fooled for a minute that this is actually something that's going to help the company, right? Move it forward. This is purely a cost-cutting exercise to get to the profitability. Because if you remember when I posted on this way back when, the C-suite is completely tied to a profitability bonus, right? So they have to take expenses out, and it's not a top line. I'm sure they've got some incentive for top line, but at the end of the day, they need profitability. They need to drive the stock price up. That's all this is. And if you think all the moves today were coincidental, they're not. It's purely about taking expense out of the business because his grand strategy, CEOs, has not worked. So again, when you think about that playbook, it's the forced RTO. Hopefully you get people to quit. When they don't quit, then you do layoffs. Right now, I think this is their second big one.
Everyone's talking about the shutdown, but nobody's talking about what comes after it. This time, it's not a temporary furlough. It's real layoffs, jobs eliminated, agencies consolidated, budgets cut for good. And if you think it's just DC insiders losing a paycheck, think again. Federal contractors, local economies, even small towns that rely on those agencies, they're all in the blast zone. For decades, presidents have promised to shrink government. They'd freeze hiring, trim budgets, shuffle titles, but the headcount, it always came back. Trump, he's doing it differently. He's not waiting for Congress to blink. He's cutting positions now, calling it discipline, not dysfunction. And here's what most people don't realize. Once those positions are gone, they're not coming back. That's how you actually shrink government. Not with slogans, but with pink slips. So yeah, it's starting in DC. But sooner or later, those ripples hit every district, every town, and every voter who says they want smaller government. And this is what it looks like when an idea stops being a talking point.